Fruit's in pretty good condition. It's had a long trip to get to Canada. I'm also making a cab project with it. Okay, here's some of the grapes that I got in today. It's October 3rd, 2015. Making little batches in Vintner. That's from Edinburgh County.
A long time ago, there was this girl y'all know. She was the cutest, the stupidest, little Miss Petunias. And then she grew up with a strut like a what? Like a roasted chestnut. She wasn't tough enough to crack.
Color Pro, Color X enzyme.
She's locking it, popping it, shocking it, knocking it. Right till the sun finally shows. Hey, look at her now. She's on top of this town.
Starting
a regular messenger of cool
It always comes on too strong, and you can get it back, and then you stick it underneath the plastic. Now it's heavier than air, so it will sink down and make a nice blanket on top of the grapes and protect them. You want to do this with each container. Okay, so the grapes have been sitting here now for about 24 hours, and last night when I finished, I put some CO2 underneath each top just to keep the oxygen away from the grapes while they're sitting there unprotected. There's no sulfite in them at this point. Some people dose their raw must with sulfite. Some people don't. It all depends on what you plan on doing later on for malolactic fermentation and that sort of thing, and your beliefs in using wild yeast and whatnot. Just a note on that. As far as wild yeast goes, some people ferment the entire batch on wild yeast. Some people use cultured yeast, and some people can combine it to some degree. I'll go 1 to 2% of the alcohol wild, just to let it get going, so that it doesn't really get a good head of steam, but it gives it some character. And then I'll pitch the commercial yeast, which will kill the old wild yeast and take over. So tonight what we're going to do is give these a good stir, pick out any extra stems that stand out, and then I'm going to get some numbers for pH, TA, and bricks, and adjust it if necessary. And my intention is to let it sit for 3 or 4 days cold, if it. Okay, so I've got a potato masher I got at the restaurant supply store, and that's good for this size container. As far as pulling out the stems, that's another part of the art of winemaking. Some people prefer to leave the stems in, some people want them all out. For me, it depends on the variety that I'm making. I find that the Cab varieties, Cab Sauv, Cab Franc, Merlot, those ones, they tend to pick up the stemminess more than some of the others. So I like those to be completely stem-free, and I'll leave maybe 5% of the original stem matter that it just comes through with the crusher destemmer. I'll leave that in some of the other ones. So, I'm just going to give it a stir. Every once in a while I might see some leaves. This is my Zinfandel.
What's your name?
Then I take my strainer, also from the restaurant supply store, and I just set it in from the top to make a little puddle of wine or puddle of grape juice there. And
Looks like your friends.
from that, I will take my samples to go and do the chemistry. Okay, the first of the numbers that we want is the pH. Got my pH meter calibrated here.
Oh, sexy baby.
pH.
I don't know how I live. Now that I found you. Now that I found you.
Typically the grapes coming in from California, the ones we get, are high sugar, low acid. So inevitably I end up adding acid out of water to bring it into the proper range, but we'll see. That's looking like it. It's looking like the pH is 4.15. That's too high. This again is part of the art. But a typical starting range would be 3.5 to 3.6, something like that for red wine. Alright, so we're going to get a sample and measure how much acid's in there as well. Now for the titratable acidity, or TA, we need a 5 milliliter sample. And we're off to the kitchen. Minus 1.8 is 3.2. And we double that at 6.4. So we're kind of in a weird situation here. 6 grams per liter is pretty good for red wine, but 4.1 is not a good pH. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to bring that pH down. We don't want to have too much acid, so later on we will have to drop that acid out. Okay, so one more number that we need right now is the Brix. Now this is a refractometer. And some clever person figured out that if you put something sweet on there, the sugar will bend the light, makes it a line. In this case, you have to look into a bright light to see it. It reads 27.5. 27.5 is too high for me. If I let that ferment all the way, I'll get 16.5% alcohol if I'm lucky. So I'm going to have to add some water and some acid. I've made my calculations using the Pearson square, and you can find a Pearson square online with some instructions on how to use it. And I'm going to do just one pail at a time to see how that works out for me. Then I can adjust it for the next one. So in this pail, which has 3 lugs of Zinfandel, I'm going to add 3.5 liters of water with 46 grams of tartaric acid. Some of that is to account for the 6 grams per liter in the water, and the rest is to try to drop that 4.1 pH. And we probably will need a little bit more, but it's easier to add more than it is to try to get rid of too much. So we'll inch our way up to the numbers we want, and then we'll know better for the next ones. Now I'm going to stir. Now I'm basing this estimate on, I'm hoping to get at least 25 liters of wine out of 3 lugs. There could be more in there. I doubt there's less. We'll find out. Back with our pH meter and our refractometer to get new numbers. Let's see. I'm going right past 4.1. 3.7. It might drop a little bit further. But here's the deal. Not all that acid is assimilated yet. So I'm going to wait until tomorrow. There's no rush because it's just going to be cold soaking, and I'm going to run these numbers again tomorrow. And if need be, I'll add more acid. So at least I know I'm in the right ballpark in terms of how much water to add. At least I think. We got the acid right. Let's just check and see what our Brix is like. That brings it down to 24, which will give us 14% alcohol. Bingo.